Hello everyone and welcome to a new mech video here for MWO, July 2018's release, the Hellfire, also known as the Lupus, back in the day. It's a 60-tonner, and it was popularised by Clan Staradder when heavy laser technology became the in thing. As you can see here from the Met Lab, virtually no change, if any. Actually, no, there wasn't. It is counted as a battlemech, though, not an omni-mech like the original Lupus, and thus was able to mess around with the engine. You can change armor type, Artemis fire control, all those kind of things. You can put endo steel on. That is actually one thing it doesn't have equipped, but it does come with double heat sinks already, and ferrofibrous. And I, just like the Bloodasp, this was one of those mechs I really wasn't looking forward to. Not that I hated it, disliked it or anything, but I just thought, it's okay. It's nothing special. But I've really enjoyed it. I've done a few drops now in the Hellfire, and I've enjoyed every single one. They've had pretty good results for me, damage-wise at least. Not saying they're all wins. But yeah, it's got a really nice aesthetic. I quite like the design of this thing. The artwork made it look kind of crap actually, but the in-game version I really like. And one of the big thing I really like visually about this is that huge heavy laser that you can see on the left side of the cockpit glass there. Just looks like a tank turret. It's cool. And yeah, it's so much fun just being able to run up on something and just dump, what is it, like 18 points of damage into something with that. It's really nice. It's quite well equipped as well. It has 7 energy hardpoints and 3 missile hardpoints here on the HLF-1, which essentially entails, if I remember it correctly, 1 heavy large, 2 heavy medium, 2 ER medium, 2 heavy small, and 3 LRM-10. For 60 tons, that's a hell of a lot of firepower. The drawback, it's not as quick as other mechs in that weight range. Things like Dragons and the upcoming Champion and the such, even the Rifleman, can quickly outpace this mech. Of course, custom versions you may want to stick in an XL engine, because interestingly this comes with a standard Clan engine rather than an XL. So you may get better results for speed, obviously, tinkering with that. By default, with the initial loadout, you can't stick in an XL engine. There's just too much torso-mounted weaponry, and you'll see that when when you see the thing properly in the Met Lab. If you picked it up yourself, it's just bristling with guns. So essentially, its combat role on the field was to be either a defensive fighter or something that worked on the assault. So the idea was speed wasn't that important, because it would either be sitting behind a fortification waiting for the enemy to come to it, or it'd be part of a much larger operation where its firepower would come to bear at the sort of medium to short range brawling distances. And so after a recent discussion, I think I talked about this in the Kodiak video, I think the KDK-4 that comes with the LRMs, this kind of plays like a support assault by its initial loadout anyway, because you want to stick close to your team to give the LRM fire, because if anything does roll up on your teammates, they're not expecting that amount of energy weaponry to come at them. And one of the big things to be aware of is heat. As probably most Clan players know nowadays, heavy lasers are very hot, and firing them in any kind of grouping is a bit of a dicey prospect, especially depending on the map you're on. But the heavy large laser is hot enough. Firing the two, I had it grouped that the 2 heavy mediums and the 2 heavy smalls fired together, the heavy large on its own and the ER mediums on their own. You couldn't alpha strike with this, you would shut down instantly. So you have to be aware of your heat management as you're going, and also teammates running in front of your heavy large laser and your LRMs when you fire them. But you've got to be aware of those things, because if you get caught up in the moment, you're trying to get that kill shot, you probably will overheat yourself very quickly. As a test bed for heavy lasers within the universe, I'm sure it was great. In MWO, it's a dicey prospect. Heavy lasers always have been. And who knows what they'll be like after the upcoming PTS changes, if heavy lasers do get the kind of nerfs they're going to get, especially with the heat. It'll be interesting to see how this mech sort of survives that change. Because, let's face it, the clans aren't short on energy boats. That's one of the problems that this mech is going to face. It's just the fact, again, a bit like the Black Lana, how necessary was it? It's nice to have a new 60-tonner. I quite like it personally. But in the grand scheme of things, a mech that primarily focuses on energy hardpoints, we already have a couple in the form of the Ebon Jaguar and the Hellbringer. These are 2 heavies that do a more than adequate job. The Hellbringer even has ECM, which this mech doesn't have. So what's its main benefits? The thing I'd say is it's profile is probably its biggest strength, is the fact that it can very easily use the terrain to escape fire. The drawback is it suffers clan low slung arm syndrome. The only sort of high mounted weapon is the heavy large that you can see on the left torso. But realistically, you still have to expose a fair amount of the mech to fire it, and as you can see, you have to be aware of the positioning of your mech, because you might be able to see the target, but the large laser there can actually hit terrain, and you might have to maneuver a little bit more than you would like to. You could take hits in that regard. But yeah, I suppose maybe the biggest strength of this is that it's a battle mech rather than it being an omni mech, which is its one advantage, I guess, over the Hellbringer and Evan Jag, but I'm not really sure whether that's enough to draw players over to it. It's not a bad mech by any means, don't get me wrong. It's not like the Blackliner, which I thought was kind of unimpressive and not really that important to the grand scheme of things. This is evidenced by the fact that how many Blackliners do you see these days? Not many. And I kind of hope that doesn't happen here with the Hellfire. It's a fun 60-tonner. It's nice to see the clans get a couple more heavy variants in there. That's one of the areas that I think the clans suffer the most in, is the number of mechs is actually quite small compared to their inner sphere counterparts, because, as I've said in the past, Omni technology means they don't need as many mech variants or chassis, because they have Omnitech. You just switch out this mech to do that role, and then, oh, we're going into an open field, we'll just switch it to this role. Whereas the Innisphere needed loads of different mechs because they needed mechs to do different tasks. So it was one of the main drawbacks. So yeah, the clans are always going to have that kind of deficiency in their sort of variants and chassis that are available to them. But overall, if you enjoy energy mechs and you enjoy especially playing clan battle mechs over omni mechs, this is a good one. It's quite fun. I really enjoyed it for the few rounds I've played it for. It seems a bit solid as well. Nice hitboxes. I got rinsed a few times with energy and different weapons via ballistics and the such. It didn't seem to core out very quickly, which you'd think the big CT on the model would be one of its main issues, but it seems to spread damage quite nicely. The speed isn't too bad, and obviously with skills and all the other bits and pieces you can get on there, it's definitely going to improve, I think. Heat management is a key, though. But I think this round is about to end, and I had a bloody good laugh, and it was enjoyable. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good week. And what's your opinion on the Hellfire? Do you enjoy it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's dead on arrival, or do you think it's got some potential there? So I'll see you next time. Bye.